So in the old days, for those of you who don't know, before a dominant could be a dominant, he had to earn his leathers. He had to earn his hood. He had to earn, the right to service a submissive. He or she had to earn. Females weren't really allowed back then too much. And the ones that were, the ones that trained them, those mistresses, their submissives had to be on point. So in the old days, you actually had to stand before the community elders and give a huge Q&A for days, it's something it felt like, before you were allowed to even be one-on-one solo with a submissive. I find it unfortunate nowadays that that's not the case. So, because then you end up with people who do improper punishments. They don't understand punishments, and they take punishments to a whole different level that it just shouldn't be, So, what are your thoughts on punishments?
The problem with punishments, or at least that's my observation for online, people don't even have a clue what is a punishment, what is the punishment supposed to do, because everybody is talking about punishments.
Right.
Yes, punishment is a fucked up word for having fun, yes. Being playful with your dominant and getting out of this being playful, and I'm not talking about a brat, getting out of it, a spanking, for example, yeah, that's nice, but you can ask for a spanking as well.
Yeah, at any time.
Probably, but it's not so much fun. I can see that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the most people don't even understand what punishment is. I'm an admin in different groups, and I see so many times that people say, I make a mistake to get a punishment. Yeah, you don't even have the clue what is the punishment for. No one, and I actually never met one or talked to someone who said, I love punishment.
I don't think if they're done properly, I don't think I've ever met a single submissive that ever was like, yay, punishments. I don't think I've ever come across one of those.
So nobody loves or nobody likes punishment. No one. Not a heavy sadist, not a heavy masochist. No one loves punishment. Punishment is exactly for what it is, to correct something that's not wanted, that's, what's the word for it,
I don't know. You have to give me inappropriate? Okay.
Fucking English. To correct something. And the most people don't understand. I read so many times, do you have ideas for punishment? And yes, I have ideas, but it doesn't work on your submissive, or for you it will not work, because it works maybe on me, but only on me, and maybe on someone else, but it does not work on anybody else. How do I find a good punishment? Look at what the people likes.
And what they dislike. Absolutely. Definitely touch it on as to what they like and dislike.
When I get asked for this, I pull out my most loved example for it. I love chocolate. I love chocolate. I'm probably addicted to chocolate. So it's almost on the hand what the punishment would be, to deny chocolate for a period of time. I read so many times, and it's effective, because I will never do this again, because I will my chocolate. Don't think about it.
I think I did this once, and you went crazy.
Yes, for 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, for 3 days it did.
Level 40 brat, you know what I mean?
And Yeah, but they don't match the case in most of the times.
So what do you mean they don't match the case?
Yeah, they pull out an I don't know, the mistake was kind of here.
Level one mistake.
So, but they pull out a punishment way up here.
Yeah, level 40 punishment.
So it mostly never, and they don't even think about it. For them, the most used punishment is to spank.
Mhm.
That's the most used punishment. They don't even think about what happens if the mistake, what was the mistake? Why is this mistake happen? They don't even think about it. Maybe it needs a correction.
So what do you mean by correction? Do you mean like the instructions should be given clear, or?
Maybe for example, the submissive doesn't do their task. For example, but what was the reason for it? Was the instruction not clear? Is there something from the outside that plays into? I mean, I can punish a submissive because she's not following the instruction, but and then I punish her, and it was not even on her plate. It was something from the outside why she couldn't.
So I think what you're saying that sometimes life happens,
right,
and submissives aren't always able to fulfill their tasks and the way that their dominants would like. So a dominant should be able to consider that. So
that comes in.
So would you say that opening and closing is a good procedure?
Yes, definitely.
So for everybody that's going to watch later, because nobody's watching now, but what exactly is that procedure? Would you like to run through one? I'm asking.
I'm in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble.
Good.
But I'm asking, would you like to run through a punishment procedure?
I don't mind.
Okay. So we'll say that Honey is in trouble for, I don't know, what do you want to be in trouble for?
Take it too high.
We'll say that Honey is in trouble for not drinking her water. This is a common protocol or task that many dominants have. With that, we'll say that Honey has not drank her water. Okay. So what we do, and what I was trained to do, is I open the punishment. So it goes something like this. I'm going to open a punishment for you not drinking your water. Do you understand why you're being punished?
Yes.
Why are you being punished?
Because I'm not following your instruction.
Okay. And what is the instruction I gave you?
To drink my water.
Okay. So because you have not drank your water, I'm going to X punishment. Do you have any comments, questions, or concerns about this punishment? And here is the time where the dominant must be quiet and not speak. All attention must be on what the submissive is saying, and they can even argue that they don't deserve this punishment. They can even state their feelings, comments, and concerns about this punishment. This is their chance to not avoid the punishment, because that's on me to decide. This is their chance to give me the information, to communicate to me why they could not complete this task. Okay, and then I make the decision after this point of whether or not they deserve this punishment. So, comments, questions, or concerns?
I think it's also, it's not just to explain why you cannot or couldn't fulfill your task. It's also the possibility to explain why you cannot do that. You have to be punished. That's okay, that's fine, but sometimes it might be not the right time. For what reason ever, depending on the punishment. Just as an example, the punishment would be to put a red dot on your nose, and you have an appointment with your boss an hour later. You cannot fulfill this punishment. So that's the time to tell your dominant, look, I couldn't do that because of my concern about this and this. I know I have to be punished, or I think I don't deserve the punishment, depending on. But even if I deserve the punishment, I cannot do the punishment right now because of.
Right. And I want to add on to that all punishments should have a 24-hour window, or excuse me, let me back up, a 48-hour window of executing that punishment. And here's why. A lot of times for dominants to punish, they are upset. A dominant should not ever punish or scold or anything else while they're upset, while they're angry, or anything else. Not ever should be done. If you are upset, you should wait 48 hours. Sometimes, as you said, it's not the proper time to do a punishment. So that 48-hour window will allow the submissive to continue to remember. They know what they did, and life happens. It allows the punishment to be initiated and opened at a more appropriate time for both parties. Sometimes you got kids. You can't punish when you got little ones running around. You just can't.
Or it results in what happens on another page. The submissive was acting out, was being a brat in public, and the dominant lashed out, I think so, lost his temper, or however you want to call that, and grabbed her by her neck. And I just say by her neck because we don't have the information if he grabs her throat, if he grabs anything else than her neck. The information is just he grabs her neck. He ends up in jail because someone called the police, and I think it's definitely an American thing. This guy is arrested.
And now, depending, I believe it's in
Massachusetts.
Is it Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
I know here in California, you're looking at a minimum of a year in jail, county jail. And in California and many other states, it doesn't matter the evidence you present. In fact, a contract can be used against both parties, can be used against the submissive and the dominant to cause this problem. But we're getting off track. So let's jump back to the punishment real quick. So comments, questions, concerns. She would give me the comments, questions, and concerns or explanation. I would state the punishment again, and then we would do the punishment. After the punishment is done, I ask, do you understand why you were punished?
Yes.
Why were you punished?
Because for not following instruction.
Right. So, do you have any comments, questions, concerns about the punishment you have received?
No.
Okay. So now we're going to close this punishment. And the important part about this is never mention this punishment ever again in a negative way. It's one thing to say, hey, it's one thing to say, this punishment a while ago, we've already talked about this. It's another thing to say, you're doing this again. I told you, we've already punished you. I've already punished you. Never, ever do that. Because that punishment has been closed. You should not ever negatively bring up a punishment that has been closed, or any punishment, open, closed, sideways, doesn't matter. It should not be brought up in a negative way. It's a mistake. Everybody makes them. If you're perfect, well, then you just need to go back to hell. Would you have anything to add to that? No.
Yes, for me, I can just speak for myself. I need time to process. So I'm very eager to close the punishment. But I need to process the whole situation, why I was punished, the punishment itself, depending on what it is. It triggers me mostly and most importantly emotionally.
Right. I agree with that. And mentally.
Even mentally, emotionally, even if this, even if it's a spank, it's probably way harder than the normal spanking. At least it feels that way, even if it's not. I need time to process that, and it's okay to talk about this later on.
Right.
But it shouldn't be without any blame or
Right.
just.
And this is actually where the ending of the closing comments, questions, or concerns. You don't have to close this right away. Once the punishment is executed, it can be left open. It can be left open for, again, up to 48 hours. You know, it can be left open. This is why you have 48 hours to complete the entire punishment. Now, if life happens and that time goes past 48 hours, then my recommendation to you is not to punish. Because by then the memory has faded, on exactly the details of that event. Then you're looking for reasons, the submissive's looking for reasons and justifications, on why they did or did not, or whatever the case may be. So, so it's okay to leave that punishment open after you've done the punishment. It's okay to leave that open. That's why the end part is there of comments, questions, and concerns, and asking why, seeing if they understand why they were punished. Just, you remember the punishment where you had to write 1,000 lines, I think it was? Mm-hmm. That one took 2 days to close out. And at the very end, we had trouble remembering exactly why you had gotten into trouble. We remembered it, but it wasn't as crystal clear. And, we were able to kind of work our way through that together, and that's the key. A punishment is not just about the submissive, it is also about the dominant. That punishment should be for a clear reason. If you're not communicating with your submissive on exactly what they've done wrong, that's a problem. It's going to be a problem for you today. It's going to be a problem for you tomorrow. It's going to be a problem for you in every single dynamic you get into. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and even as a submissive, you should be communicate that even if you don't understand the punishment, it's your right to understand why are you being punished.
Right.
If you don't understand it, communicate.
Right. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And this is also one of those, in punishments, is where, those protocols of not speaking, that goes away. The role of dominant, submissive, for a larger portion, should be put on pause. I get a lot of flack from a lot of older dominants that tell me, no, that's not the way it goes. But I tell you, I've been doing this a very long time, and this is the method that I have found that makes the submissive feel more comfortable, feel more at home, feel more welcomed, and more free to communicate, not only inside the punishment, but outside of the punishment as well, because they understand that it doesn't really matter what they say, it's the way that they say it, and that they're free to express themselves emotionally. Again, I get a lot of flack from older dominants about my punishment style. Some of them don't agree that a submissive should have that comments, questions, or concerns, or explanation kind of area where they should be able to communicate directly with what they're talking about. But the way I was trained in my old community, that was the way I was taught. So this is the way I teach. I teach honey, and I advise all of you dominants out there watching to also put forward, and you also have to be cautious of this, because a untrustworthy submissive will try to manipulate here to try to talk themselves out of a punishment, even though they know they fully deserve the punishment. And again, this is where the roles of dominant submissive kind of have to relax a little bit, not all the way, just a little bit, to allow the submissive the ability to speak. So
on the submissive side, from the submissive side, you have to know why you are punished.
yeah,
If you don't understand the punishment, this will cause, this will backfire later on.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand why are you punished, because you will bring it up every now and then, not because you're being a brat, but you couldn't
understand.
You couldn't understand it, and you couldn't process.
Depending on who you ask, it's a protocol or a task. To understand and explain the difference, a task is something that is done routinely on a daily or weekly or monthly or whatever event. A protocol is triggered from an event. So when I come home from work, honey is to be at the door ready to kiss me and give me a hug and tell me welcome home. That is a protocol, because the protocol is triggered by me coming home. Her task of drinking water is a task because when she wakes up, when she wakes up, she knows that throughout the entire day, she has to drink her water. And that is the difference. A protocol is generally short in time length and triggering event, whereas a task is long term, or has a longer triggering event. So